Hello there, you beautiful people, and in this lecture you're going to see just how powerful the dictionary data structure really is by allowing each key to hold multiple values. So this effectively makes one dictionary capable of storing a virtually unlimited amount of information, and each piece can be neatly ordered and uniquely accessible. So in this lecture, you're going to learn how you can combine dictionaries with lists and with other dictionaries so we can store more information about our students, such as their student ID and their grade, for example. So by the end of this lecture, you're going to be the Python data structure boss, and you're also going to know how to combine together different data structures into your bigger data structure, effectively however you like. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's recap what we have from last lecture. We had a dictionary of students like this, and we created it so that we had several students in it. We had Alice, and her age was 26. Well, not 16. 26. We had Bob, who was 27. We had Claire, who was 17. We had Dan, who was 21. And we had Emma, who was 22. Okay, so we had this list of students, and each student, their name was a key and their age was a value. And you can see that we only have one value for each key. Now, what if we wanted to store not only the student's age, but we also wanted to store their student number as well as their grade? Well, what we can do is, instead of storing just an integer in each of the values, you see how we've just got an integer, an integer, an integer, an integer. Instead of storing just an integer, we can store a list. So let's say the first thing we put is their student number, then their age, and then their grade. So I'm going to show you how we do this in a script. Let me just make a script here. And I'm going to save this on the desktop, again, in the Python Bible. And I'm going to call this students.py. Okay, so let me just take this. Save me typing, if I can. We'll give it a go. Hopefully I can copy and paste. And move into here. Yeah, there we go. So, right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make in here our dictionary. And I'm just going to break this up a bit. I'm going to put like an end line after each one of these. Which you can do in Python, by the way. This is actually totally allowed. Okay, so, and I'm just going to put that down like that. Okay, so instead of just having their age, I'm going to have a list here. And the first thing is going to be their student number. So let's say that's ID 0001. Her age is 26. And she is getting an A. Okay, then we're going to have another list for Bob. Bob's ID is 0002. He's going to be 27, and he's getting a B. Claire is going to have her own ID. She's going to be ID 0003. She's 17. And Claire is getting a C. Dan, ID 0004. Going to be, he's 21, and he's going to be getting that. And then Emma, ID 0005. 22 and E. Okay, so that works, right? So if I run this, just to show you, hopefully we don't get any errors, you see that's worked totally fine. So now what if we wanted to get all of Claire's data? Well, to do that, we have to print it because we're in a script, but we just type students of Claire, and that would give us all of her data, but we need to print it. So let's just print that, and we're going to see that indeed her ID, her age, and her grade come up. So what if we just wanted to get her ID? Well, what we could do is we could go in here, and instead of just printing all of her data, because her ID is the 0th index, it's the first thing in that list, we just put another square brackets and put the index 0. Then when we run that, we just get her ID. So what if we wanted to get Dan's age and Dan's grade? Well, what we could do is we could print students of Dan. Now his age and his grade. Well, his age is index 1, and his grade is, well, basically we just need the rest of the list from here, right? So we can just say from index 1 all the way till the end. And when I save that and run, now we get his age and his grade. So you can see the way that we can apply slices in our dictionary to get the information that we want. And this is all great because we've saved a lot of data about each student in one place. And as long as we know the order that each piece of information is stored, we know that the ID comes first, then the age, then the grade, then that's absolutely fine. But what if we wanted to make it a bit more clear what each index was? What if we didn't just have to remember that ID came first, and then the age came second, and then the grade came third? Well, that's what I'm going to show you how to do next. So what we can do is we can give each key its own dictionary as a value. So let me show you. I'm going to go back into the script. And in here, instead of having a list as a value, I'm going to make a dictionary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to type in here another dictionary, and I'm going to say ID is ID 0001. Then I'm going to have a comma. Age is 26, and the grade is A. And I'm just going to copy and paste this and fill in the appropriate values for each student. So Bob, his ID is ID 002, he is 27, and Bob has a B for a grade. Then Claire, ID 0003, her age is 17, and she is on a C. Then we have Dan, who's on ID 0004. Dan is 21, and he's on a D grade. And then you've got Emma, who has ID 0005. She's 22, and she is on an E grade. Okay, now this looks quite badass, right? We've got a dictionary with dictionaries and keys and all sorts of stuff inside it, but it's actually really easy to use. So now I'm going to get rid of this. And what if we wanted Dan's age? Well, all we've got to type is students, Dan, and his age. Okay, now I need to print this to show it to the screen. But now we're going to see Dan's age, which is 21. And if we look back in, we're going to see, oops, wrong script. Wrong script again. There we are. Dan's age is indeed 21. So what if we wanted Emma's ID and Emma's grade? Well, we can make a new list that contains those. So if I said print, let's say I wanted to print students, Emma, her ID, and students, Emma, her grade. And now I save and run it. We're going to get her ID and her grade. And there we have it. I mean, how freaking awesome is that, right? As you can see, Python's dictionaries are an incredibly powerful data type and are really simple to use when you set them up properly. In this lecture, you learned how to assign lists to be values for specific dictionary keys. And while this was great because we could take slices of the output and so on, it was kind of awkward to use if we didn't know what order the list was in. So to fix this, you then learned how to assign dictionaries to be values for Python dictionary keys, which brought us to a whole new realm of dictionary epicness. So you can now use keys with easily recognizable names to refer to each of the values in a Python dictionary, and doing that was super easy. And that brings us to the end of our discussion of Python dictionaries. In the next lecture, we're going to actually apply this stuff to create a cinema booking system that lets the user book tickets to see a film. If the user's old enough and there are enough tickets left, we're going to let them book to see the film. And if they're not, then we won't. Awesome, right? We're basically creating a development business right now. So I won't spoil all of the goodness here, but that project is really going to tie together everything we've learnt in the course so far, all the way from variables, through logic, and through data structures, and all the other goodness. So I'll see you in the next video.